Sins of the Father. Izuku and the rest of the Injustice League were looking at the newly built weapon, or IAMMAD. May was also covered in cybernetic armor. Put her hand on the switch, the machine is ready when you are. Izuku looked at his watch smiling, let's start the show. May then turned on the machine, which the clown that was on the building's head came off to reveal the machine pumping out green gas into the air. The League walked to the window with binoculars looking to see people looking at the green clouds and gas coming at them. The people started running away and getting in car. Scarecrow chuckled, car ACs won't filter the gas is designed to go through any air filtration system. Then they saw people falling victim to the gas. One person started stabbing people while laughing and another started using their quirk to destroy anything nearby them. Izuku smiling, it's perfect. The heroes, police, and military were heading over to Izuku's hideout until they saw the gas coming at them. All Might then threw a Texas Smash to blow the gas off of the way to make a clear path to Izuku. Izuku looked at All Might coming. He is coming, Nana. Nana grunted, I hope he stops you, you evil little shit. Man Bat punched her face hard. AFO chuckle, let the mouse walking in a lion's den. Izuku then nodded at his league, which they left to their posts, AFO standing next to Izuku with Nana on a leash like a dog, keeping All Might separate from the rest. I like that you are giving such a stage to perform on. Izuku giggled, even if you die, you win and I win in the end. AFO looked at All Might coming, I wish I was there at the beginning. Izuku turned to AFO, what? AFO handed Izuku a letter, you might want to read that later. My last advice to you is that, if you want something then take it. Izuku looked at him confused then smiling, go get him, Tiger. AFO laughing, I will, my boy. All Might then saw two figures in front of him. He got a closer look to see All for One and a woman with a collar on her. AFO chuckle, it's been a while, All Might. All Might charged at AFO, but AFO used a quirk to block his punch, then All Might just back, All for One. AFO looked at the woman, hey Nana, your successor is here. Nana then looked up to see Yagi. Yagi was in shock, Master. AFO smiling, Deku gave me her bones to bring her back from the dead. She is the real deal, not a clone, not an illusion, but the real Nana. Yagi looked at AFO pissed, I will save her unlike last time. AFO laughing, by yourself. Yagi turned to see the other heroes, police, and military were being attacked by the Injustice League and their grunts. AFO stretched his arms out, I'm not letting you fight with backup and. AFO made a blade with his arm to slice off Nana's head off, with your full power and rage. Yagi snapped to fly at AFO, but AFO grabbed both of his hands, which caused an earthquake that shook the entire city, bring building down. Izuku's base was earthquake-proof, so his machine was still running without damage. Izuku watched the battle in front of him, then he got curious about the letter, which he opened it up to read it. Yagi then punched AFO hard enough to send him to the ground, breaking his mask. Yagi was deflating and reaching his limit, until AFO laughed a little more, you know All Might, I'm going to give you a secret about myself. AFO shot his air cannon combo at him. Yagi was flying back until he had a flashback of Nana and her decapitation. Yagi clenched his fist, then jumped back to the battle. Izuku at his base reading the letter and holding a picture of his mother and a white hair and gray eye man. The letter read, Dear Izuku, I'm dying, and after this fight with All Might that will lead to my death, I want you to know that Hisashi Midoriya isn't your biological father. Yagi stood on his 2 feet, which AFO giggling, Hisashi Midoriya isn't Izuku's biological father. Yagi froze in place, what? AFO looked at him smiling, you see his mother had an affair with another man, and that man is me. Izuku reading the letter. I'm your biological father, your mother and I had an affair. I was going to take her away from her arranged marriage from Hisashi, but then All Might and I had a fight. The result of the fight led to injuries that my quirks cannot heal. Izuku looked out to the battle in shock, AFO smiling. His resurrect quirk is one of the quirks that I give him before you separated us. Yagi raised an eyebrow. Quirks. AFO raised his arms to the air. His main quirk that he was born with is all for one. Izuku looked at the letter. Resurrect and the longevity quirk are your quirks. Your main quirk that you were born with is all for one. I was low of funds because of the medical equipment cost to keep me alive to see you again. The doctor lied to you to protect you from All Might and his successor because like One for All is destined to fight All for One is destined to fight One for All to survive. It's like two alpha predators in the same ecosystem always clashing each other. AFO looked at Yagi. I will die and you will lose the last bit of One for All in your body. My son and your successor are destined to fight each other like me and your predecessors. Yagi clenched his fist. I guess the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. A circle of the gas and debris formed around AFO. Even though I didn't raise him like I wanted to, he has turned out better than I have ever dreamed of. He is beyond worthy of inheriting my title, symbol of evil, and as his father, I'm excited by what he will do. Izuku tearing up as he read the letter. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you in your struggles, but I'm proud of you. Your ideals of giving the world the villain it so badly deserves. I couldn't help but smile. You have surpassed me in every way, now that you are equipped with the knowledge of your real quirk. I am leaving behind my more than 200 years of research of quirks and their combos, information of people with quirks you might be interested in, and my strongest Nomu that I have not named yet. I will let you name that one. I can't wait to be reunited with Inko. Love your father, Komatsu Akikazu. Izuku looked at the picture then to AFO who was fighting Yagi. My real name is Komatsu Izuku, Izuku started have flashbacks of his time with AFO, as he encouraged him, have conversions with him, giving him the longevity quirk, helping him break All Might, creating the strongest Nomu with him, and now looked at him about to win against him. Izuku with tears rolling on his cheeks, I forgive you, Dad. Yagi then punched AFO with his strongest punch, goodbye all for one. United States of. Yagi punched AFO to the ground, smash. Yagi was now in his normal weak form, goodbye, one for all. AFO chuckling weakly, it's your turn. Yagi saw AFO pointing at Izuku, Deku, symbol of evil. AFO coughed out some blood then Yagi checked his pulse to find that he was dead. Yagi started giggling, then laughing in joy. Yagi then started kicking AFO's body then punching it. Izuku talked in his earpiece, we did it, begin phase 2. Shinso had control of some military men got up to walk back while Kota rode his elephant back. Kota reached his hand out to Shinso, Shinso took his hand to jump on the elephant. Nito used a copy of Captain Celebrity's quirk to fly back, Abara made a plant monster to fly her back. Mei used her suit's jetpack to fly back, Sato ran back with Toga, Momo, and Jiro on his back. Shoto smirked at the heroes before making a tornado with his quirk to destroy whoever was left of the raid. Man-Bat was eating the flesh of some of the heroes then he flew off with a body to eat later. Aizawa saw Yagi laughing while beating up the body of AFO which he came over to kick him off, what the hell is wrong with you? Yagi looked at him, I finally did it, after centuries of this bastard. I finally was the one to defeat him for good. Sir Night came over, but he won in the end, you no longer have One for All and you were broken mentally. Aizawa and Sir glared at Izuku which Izuku took his face off to reveal a skinless face smiling back at them. The two looked to see that they lost their whole team to raid them with and their machine is pumping the gas into the air. The turn to see the military men with gas masks laughing like madmen and killing each other. Aizawa and Sir grabbed Yagi to retreat, Izuku was laughing as they retreated. Izuku then heard someone coming in which he turned around to see a teen about 2 years older than him with blonde hair and blue eyes. Izuku smiling. All Might's successor, Lemillion, or Mirio Tagata. Mirio's eyes widen. How do you know? Izuku put his face back on. You see Mirio, All for One and I have a hobby that we share, we love quirks. Izuku revealed a remote in his hand. All for One and I made something that is designed to kill every user of One for All, if he were to die. Izuku pressed the button which a cage opened up. Mirio heard growling and stomping. Izuku pointed at the beast. This Nomu is unlike any Nomu that the world has ever seen. This Nomu is made from over 300 heroes, villains, and civilians, I give you. A huge monster came out standing on 2 legs with crystals and horns coming out of his body, gleaming red eyes, gray skin, and it was 5 times Mirio's size. Mirio looked at the monster in fear and Izuku yelling, Doomsday. The monster then roared so loud the windows of all the building in its 1-mile radius broken. As Sir, Yagi, and Aizawa were running. Sir's glasses shattered which the glass got in his eyes. Aizawa looked back to hear the roar. That doesn't sound human, what is going on? Mirio looked at Izuku. This is so wrong, how can you use the lives of people to create this thing? Izuku laughing. I will send a video of how I did it to your address if you survive this. Doomsday looked at Mirio then Izuku shouted, go get him, Doomsday. Doomsday threw a punch at Mirio but Mirio phased through it then Mirio used 30% of One of All to punch Doomsday. But Doomsday didn't flinch or move. Izuku smirked. Doomsday don't have one shock absorption quirk, but multiple and different versions of shock absorption. Doomsday grabbed Mirio to throw him out the window. Mirio landed on his feet but Doomsday came in flying at Mirio. Mirio phased to not get hit but Doomsday's punch created a crater to destroy everything in a 1-mile radius. Mirio unfazed himself to see the destructive power of Doomsday. Oh, my God. Izuku felt the building collapsing. Well, I need a stronger building, oh well. Izuku then went over to grab a jetpack that May made for Izuku's escape. Izuku then flew out of the building as it collapsed. The machine then stopped producing gas but Izuku really cared about Doomsday because it was extremely valuable. Shoto called up. Deku, the packages have been delivered. Izuku in a dark twisted tone. Good, put them in my office. The heroes who survived Doomsday's earthquake-causing punch got up and out of the rumble to see Mirio fighting Doomsday. Aizawa and Yagi saw the beast as it shot lasers out of his eyes. Mirio dodged the lasers to then throw a steel rod at Doomsday which it penetrated its skin but then Doomsday absorbed the rod and the wound disappeared. The major in the squad of the army with the heroes shouted in his radio, we need an airstrike now. Then 2 planes came over to shoot missiles at Doomsday and a giant cloud of smoke covered the monster. As the smoke cleared, they saw Doomsday dead. Mirio sighed in relief but then Doomsday regenerated to full health then its skin because gray as steel. Mirio, the major, and the heroes were in horror by Doomsday. Izuku laughing. One of Doomsday's most valued quirks, evolution. It can evolve to suit their surrounding and for their survival, he can never die. He will just be close to death, then regenerate, and evolve to where it wouldn't die the same way twice. The major got close to his radio. Give that monster everything those jets can offer. The 2 jets came back but Doomsday opened its mouth to shoot plasma at the jets to destroy them both. Mirio shouted, One for all, 100%. Mirio punched Doomsday with everything he had but Doomsday was unaffected and Mirio broke his arm. The major said, drop a nuke on that thing. Sir got next to the major, no. We have people here. The major shouted, we have an unkillable monster here as well, we must drop the nuke. Aizawa shouted, Mirio. Run. Mirio heard Aizawa which he used his quirk to get away from Doomsday with getting killed. Doomsday was about to chase him but Izuku said, Doomsday wait. The beast stopped then Izuku saw the plane with the nuke which Izuku pointed at the plane, snack. Doomsday growled as the plane came. the plane dropped the nuke which it was coming to Doomsday, which Doomsday jumped in the air to eat the nuke. The Major and the heroes were in shock that this monster just ate a nuclear bomb. The creature came back to the ground roaring and Izuku laughing. The Major said, "No way, that thing just ate the nuke." Aizawa in horror, "What is that thing?" Mirio said, "According to Izuku, it's all for one's strongest Nomu made of over 300 quirks." Yagi thought to himself, "Such power, if I was in my prime, even I wouldn't be able to stop that thing." A portal opened behind Izuku and Doomsday which Izuku waved, "See you soon, Mirio." Then the two entered in the portal to Izuku's new base with new plans and for Izuku to learn to use his real quirk. Arkham. Deku went into his new office at his new base in an abandoned amusement park. He opened the door to reveal boxes that nearly filled the entire room. Izuku giggling, "Let's see what research Dad left for me." Sir Nightie's agency. The police and heroes were reviewing the clip of Doomsday. Mirio looked at it, "It took my strongest punch and it is powerful." Sir glared, "How did he create you?" The police chief said, "It ate an entire nuke and lives. I didn't know there was a quirk that allows that." Bubble Girl handed over a document. "There's one quirk we know that allows this, Sorimitsu Tabe, a member of the Shihasaikai. His quirk, food, allows him to eat and digest anything." A police detective in shock, "That thing is made of members of the Shihasaikai." Mirio said, "Deku told me that Doomsday is made of villains, heroes, and civilians. One of its most valued quirks is one called evolution." Crust said, "That was one of my former sidekick's quirk." The chief asked, "What does the quirk do?" Crust said, "Evolution allows the user to evolve themselves to fit any situation for the user's survival. His problem would be any evolution, he has to learn how to deal with. Like if he grew tail, he has to learn how to use and deal with it." Sir looked at Doomsday regenerating after the jets killed him the first time, multiple regeneration quirks and evolution keeping it alive. Aizawa came in and went to Sir. Yagi just finished his mental evaluation test. Sir asked, "How did he do?" Aizawa sighed, "It's bad, he has to be sent to a specialist to fix him." Sir frowned, "Deku and all for one won that fight no matter how you look at it." Mirio went over to Aizawa, "Where is he being sent to?" Aizawa looked at him, "Not Arkham." "Izuku." Izuku started laughing as he put on his suit, "I'm going to Arkham." Sato asked, "Why Arkham?" Izuku smiling, "There are a few quirks I need to steal and a few people to recruit." Toga skipped to him, "You need help." Izuku giggling, "Of course Harley. Let's get moving." Scarecrow, Bane, Two-Face, and Man-Bat. "You are coming. The rest of you will take care of Eri and the prisoners." Izuku, Toga, Shoto, Sato, Scarecrow, and Man-Bat were walking to the planning room. Izuku smiling, "My plan is for me to turn myself in." Shoto raised his eyebrow on his non-burnt side, "How do you know they wouldn't send you to Tartarus?" Sato said, "Tartarus is for villains while Arkham is for the insane people and insane villains which Deku will go to Arkham." Izuku smiling, "No need for flattery, but Harley will get security to get you all in." They all nodded. Scarecrow asked, "Are you going to walk up to the police station and surrender?" Izuku giggling, "If I do that, they will know I'm planning something, I need it to look real. I'm going for a walk." The next day, Mirio was out on patrol at his normal station until he heard gunshots. He ran to the origin to find Deku with a minigun shooting up some high school kids. Izuku laughing, "Take some of this." Mirio ran at Izuku to punch him with 20% of One for All. Izuku went flying a few feet. Izuku got up, "Lemillion. You found me, you see I was on out for a walk." Mirio grabbed Izuku by the throat to throw him, but Izuku pulled out a knife to stab Mirio's arm. Izuku landed on his feet and Mirio looked at the knife. "You got me once, I will take you down." Izuku giggling, come on, hit me. Mirio punched his face, Izuku smiling, hit me. Mirio punched him again, Izuku shouted, hit me. Mirio was about to punch him again, no. Izuku looked at him, what? Mirio glared at him, I will not make the same mistake as All Might. Izuku laughing, sure, you won't. Mirio looked at his eyes, I don't know what happened to you. You and I are similar in our pasts, I can help. Mirio put Izuku down, you don't have to be this thing that you think you have to be. I know society has created you, that is the one thing I hate about it, but together we can change it. Mirio reached his hand out, but Izuku smirked, it's far too late for me. Mirio frowned but then Izuku started chuckling, sorry, this reminds me of a joke. Izuku smiling at Mirio, you see there were two guys in a madhouse, and they didn't like it at all. Which one night they decided to escape, they came across this narrow gap stretching across town. Stretching to freedom, the first guy jumps across with no problem, but the second guy, no way he was afraid of falling. The first guy said, hey, I got this flashlight. I can shine it across the gap, and you can walk across. The second guy said, who do you think I am, crazy? You're just going to turn it off when I'm halfway across. Izuku then started laughing which Mirio looked at him then he smirked, Mirio then started laughing with him. Sir arrived to see the two laughing which then Mirio grabbed Izuku's shoulders, yeah, I'm still arresting you. Which then Mirio put some handcuffs on Izuku which Sir sighed in relief that Izuku didn't make Mirio mentality damaged like Yagi. A week later, Izuku was sentenced to go to Arkham because he is underage to sentence him with the death penalty. Arkham Insane Asylum. Mirio, Hawks, and Aizawa were now walking with security guards who were escorting Izuku into Arkham. Izuku was strapped on to a dolly looking around. You know, taking a madman to an insane asylum is like taking a child to his home. The place truly speaks to me, it like a home I never thought it would be this comfy looking. Aizawa frowned, good, we expect you to not escape. Then a guy in a nurse gown came up to them, I just got to check the condition of the prisoner. A guard grunted, just make it quick. The man said, just following procedure. The man starts looking at Izuku, patient seems to be in satisfactory condition. The face part can be taken care of with our doctors but no other injuries. That sounds. Izuku jumped forward, boo. The man jumped back in fear, the guards had their guns up, and the heroes were ready to beat him up. Izuku started laughing, need to check my temperature. I'd be happy to drop my pants. The man grunting, he's all yours, get him out of my sight. Then they got to the main room. Toga was looking at the cameras as she was in the security room with a few dead bodies with Shoto, Sato, Scarecrow, and Man-Bat. Toga then pushed a button to release all the prisoners in the asylum. Shoto smirked while flipping his coin, now for the real fun. Mirio, Aizawa, and Hawks with the guard looked around to see the inmates were now running around charging at them. Izuku then broke free from his dolly to jump to the inmates, welcome to the madhouse, Lemillion. I'm going to have so much fun. Izuku started laughing as he ran in the huge crowd of inmates. Mirio started using full crawling with his premutation, Aizawa was fighting the crowd with his scarf which he was good, Hawks was going to fight the horde until Man-Bat came in tackling Hawks into the sky. Mirio saw Man-Bat to shout to Aizawa, Izuku planned this from the beginning. It was a trap. Aizawa grunting while throwing an inmate at a group of inmates, what gave that away? Was it Man-Bat? Hawks was in the air using his feathers as swords while Man-Bat was using the dark as his advantage. Hawks flew at Man-Bat with great speed, but Man-Bat grabbed him to slam him to the wall. Man-Bat chuckling, what's wrong little birdie? The dark is not your friend tonight. Man-Bat threw him to at a guard tower which Hawks grunting as he got up, Ingenuine was right when he said Man-Bat hits like a truck. Hawks looked to find the spotlight which he pointed it at Man-Bat to try to blind him, but Man-Bat flew to throw him off the tower. Hawks thought to himself, light sources don't work, he's blind because of his quirk. He has really good hearing, meaning loud high-pitched sound are the key to beating him. But before he could do anything, he heard growling. He turned to find a huge reptile man about 3 times Endeavor's size. Izuku was on the beast's shoulder. Man-Bat, meet your new friend Killer Croc. Killer Croc, meet your new friend Man-Bat. Now that you two have met, kill Hawks. Killer Croc smirked as he grabbed Hawks to throw him at Man-Bat. Man-Bat then started punching Hawks' face and gut. Man-Bat then grabbed Hawks' shoulders, going down. Man-Bat then flew straight down at Killer Croc. Killer Croc opened his mouth wide and Man-Bat let go of Hawks. Hawks was then eaten by Killer Croc. Killer Croc chuckled, tastes like chicken. Man-Bat landed in front of Killer Croc. A fellow cannibal, shall we? Killer Croc smiling, yes, let's find more prey to eat and leave. Izuku skipping along, I'm going to get more friends, make sure you two don't lose to Lemillion and Eraserhead. The two nodded, then ran off to eat a few people. Izuku then came across a cell. Izuku looked at the number on the cell, then he busted it down. A woman with hair white as snow was sitting on her bed looking at Izuku. Izuku leaned to a radio. Two-Face, you want to see your mother, Killer Frost. Shoto then skated his way to Izuku's location. Izuku sat in a chair next to Miss Todoroki. You must be Rei Todoroki. Tell me, do you know that your husband is dead? Rei looked at him. I know he is dead, he was killed by Two-Face. Is Two-Face here? Izuku smiling. Yes, he is, and he is on his way. He is very excited to see you and take you out of here. Rei in shock. Why is he excited to me? Izuku asked. Do you not know who Two-Face is? Rei shook her head and is a, no. Shoto then appeared in the room which Izuku left. Your mother seems to be in good health, Two-Face. Shoto smiling. Hello, Mom. Rei saw Shoto's new appearance. She started crying. I'm sorry. Shoto went up to hug her. It's okay, I forgive you. All of this is his fault. I'm here to get you out. Rei hugging Shoto, which Shoto picked her up to take her out of the asylum. Izuku then came across some inmates in specialized cells, which he smiled. Time to take some quirks. Katsuki, Knuckleduster, Crawler, and Pop Step got to Arkham to help keep the inmates in Arkham. Katsuki looked to see Mirio and Aizawa were outnumbered by the inmates. Katsuki pulled out one of his pistols to kill an inmate about to attack Aizawa from behind. Aizawa and Mirio turned. Mirio asked, who are these guys? Aizawa smirked. Backup, vigilante backup. The vigilantes jumped down to beat up the horde of inmates. Aizawa looked at the vigilantes. Took you all long enough to get here. Knuckleduster smirked. Sorry, traffic is a nightmare. Pop Step asked, what is the situation? Mirio sighed. We were taking Deku here, but it was a part of his plan. He has control of the security here. All the Arkham inmates are out of their cells. Crawler shrugged. So we take back the control over the security and put the inmates away as well. Katsuki groaned. I expected a challenge. Toga on the speaker. Attention all staff. Puddin said whoever kills Red Hood, the vigilantes, Eraserhead, and Lemillion gets to have a fun night with a few heroines that we have captured at home base. The heroines include Yukio, Mirko, newly captured Cow Lady, the newly captured Ms. Joke. Eraserhead's eyebrow twitched and a vein popped up on his forehead. Toga continued, and Uwabami. Thank you for listening to these important messages. Toga hung up. Aizawa punched a wall. How the hell did they capture Ms. Joke and more heroes? Izuku appeared laughing. Easy. They turned to look at him with Anther Man with black hair and a katana. Izuku continued, you see, I have a group of friends that can do a lot of things for me. But allow me to introduce to you all my new friend. The man smirked. It's been a while, Shota Aizawa. Aizawa frowned. Ra's al Ghul. The demon. Ra's al Ghul looked at Aizawa. I see that you have gotten older, my student. Then looked at his scarf, and you traded your sword for a piece of clothing. Aizawa squared up. I'm going to make sure you never leave this place. Izuku smiling. Who never this would be the place where Eraserhead's teacher would be at, a man over 1,000 years old. Ra's al Ghul chuckled. It's been a long time since I was a child. Katsuki pulled out his pistol to shoot them, but then Izuku's arm made a giant shield of metal to protect him and Ra. The five were in shock, which Izuku laughing. I guess I will reveal my real quirk, all for one. Mirio Tagata, the 9th user of One for All, we are destined to fight each other. As the second All for One user, I will make it my goal to destroy One for All. So evil can once again rule Japan. Aizawa and Mirio were in shock by Izuku's real quirk, which Izuku's arm went back to normal. Liquid metal has proven to be a useful quirk, but let's try out a few more. Before Aizawa could start using his quirk, Ra's al Ghul started attacking him. Knuckleduster went to help out Aizawa, but before Pop Step, Crawler, Katsuki, and Mirio could help the two, they were warped to the courtyard of the asylum. Izuku appeared on the top of the water fountain in the center. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, we have a special event. In this corner we have Lemillion, Pop Star Step, Red Hood, and the Crawler. The stomping was heard. Crawler in worry. I don't like this one bit. Pop Step said, neither do I. Mirio squaring up. Get ready, we need to work together. Katsuki growling. This better be a challenge. Izuku then shouted, in the other corner, he is the unkillable monster, the beast that ate a nuclear bomb. Mirio's eyes widen. No, we can win against. Doomsday roared while Izuku is laughing. Doomsday. Katsuki was scared because of the power of Doomsday, but he's still going to try to kill it. Katsuki started running and shooting at the beast's eyes. The beast got angry and shot lasers from his eyes at Katsuki. Katsuki rolled to dodge the lasers. Crawler flew across the ground to try to knock the beast off balance, but the beast was heavy as hell. Pop Step jumped into the air really high to kick Doomsday's face, but Doomsday was unaffected by it. Mirio came in punching the beast with all his might and strength, then Doomsday punched Mirio, sending him flying into the building behind him. Izuku was enjoying the fight as he was sitting down on a throne. He made for himself out of crystals and gold. Flash Warp, Crystal, and Midas Touch are pretty simple. Let's try Future Sight. Izuku looked at the fight, then his eyes turned blue, which he saw that somehow Katsuki breaks his vow to use his quirk to blow up Doomsday, but it doesn't fully kill the beast. Izuku chuckled. Doomsday will live on, evolve, and fight again, but the four of you will be too tired to continue fighting and we will leave. Aizawa and Knuckleduster. Ra's al Ghul is faster than the two can handle and a lot more skill than the two combined. Ra smiling. I miss the good days before quirks where enemies fight like this. Aizawa threw his scarf to disarm Ra, but Ra's blade cut through it like paper. Knuckleduster came in for a punch, but Ra jump kicked his chest hard. Aizawa charged at Ra, but Ra grabbed his throat. Pathetic, you were much better when you were my student. What happened? You grew old and started liking that you were better than a lot of villains you fight because you can negate their quirks. You forgot what's it like to fight someone who has actual combat experience. Aizawa punched his gut, freeing him, then he jumped back. I will not allow you to leave and cause more murders. Ra smiling. Even if you raided the school, I can always rebuild. Knuckleduster came in, which Ra grabbed and threw him at Aizawa. Aizawa and Knuckleduster were on the ground. Ra looked at Knuckleduster. You remind me of one of my students I had way before Aizawa. Bruce was his name. Good student, believes in justice, and became a vigilante in Gotham City. Knuckleduster got up. What are you saying? Ra smirked. Maybe that theory of a person can die then reincarnate as another person might be right. You do remind me of him by the voice, attitude, and personality. Too bad you don't have the fighting skills he had. Aizawa and Knuckleduster came in charging at Ra, which Ra tripped Knuckleduster, then uppercut him, then went to Aizawa to punch his chest, then roundhouse kick him to the wall. Ra put away his sword. I will now leave, it's been a while since I was in the Lazarus pit. Izuku then appeared. I see you are victorious. Ra smirked. So, you are all for one son. Izuku went to Aizawa to take his quirk. That is indeed correct. I want to see this Lazarus pit when I'm finished with this little show. Ra chuckled a bit. You helped me break out. I would gladly bring you to my prize. Mirio, Katsuki, Crawler, and Pop Step. The four were fighting Doomsday. Crawler jumped to get Pop Step out of the plasma beam's path. Mirio punched it. One for all. 75% smash. The punch did nothing to Doomsday, which Katsuki jumped to prevent the beast from killing Mirio. Mirio looked at the beast. We need to figure out how to defeat this thing. Mirio saw a huge barrel of propane, which Mirio looked at Katsuki. I need you to use your quirk. Katsuki in anger. I'm not using my quirk after what I did. Mirio punched his face. We need you to use your quirk or else we die. Do you understand? Katsuki looked at Mirio in anger, then to the beast. Fine. Katsuki used his quirk to fly to the beast and started making explosions. The beast was roaring in pain, which Mirio came in to punch its gut while Katsuki was going for its face. Crawler came in to try to make it fall backwards. Then they got to the propane tank, which Mirio punched him with everything he had. 1,000,000% smash. Doomsday stepped back a little bit, then Katsuki, in pain from using a lot of big explosions, AP shot. The explosion took off Doomsday's head and made the propane tank behind Doomsday explode. The four went flying back and Doomsday was mostly destroyed. Pop Step got up first. Did we destroy it? The other three looked and were about to cheer until the heard clapping. Izuku smiling. This is the most damage Doomsday has ever taken, but he is not dead. Izuku then picked up a piece of flesh, which the four can see it regenerating. Mirio in shock. No way. Izuku then warped the flesh to his base for Doomsday to fully heal and evolve, then looked towards the four. He will come back much stronger thanks to you four. Doomsday has been a great help, especially when it kept you all distracted while I took Eraserhead's quirk. Izuku's eyes were red. Mirio got up to use his quirks, but he couldn't. Katsuki got both pistols loaded up and tried to shoot Izuku, but Izuku activated liquid metal, making bullets useless. Izuku laughing while making a sword out of his hand, which hurts more. Kachan. Izuku warped in front of Katsuki to stab his hand. Izuku then warped again to appear behind him with a crowbar to whack his head, or B. Crawler came in to punch Izuku. The punch made contact, but Izuku used a quirk to where the punch got reflected back, cause Crawler to hurt himself. Izuku giggled. Shock reflection is a hard quirk to come across, not even Doomsday has it. Mirio came out of the ground to uppercut Izuku, but Izuku warped away to his throne. Izuku smiling. Like my throne, money, fame, and power are the foundation of everything of this society. Izuku got on his feet. You see, I don't want to reshape society, build a new society, or even to bring change. Izuku then became big, muscular, and his shirt was torn up. Izuku crushed the throne. I want to destroy society, destroy the world, destroy justice, and destroy everything. If the monster can't defeat the symbol of peace yet, then the symbol of evil will do it himself. The four looked up to see Izuku is about as big as Doomsday. Izuku laughing. Come on. Fight me. Kill me before I kill you. Izuku threw a punch at the ground, which caused some of the buildings surrounding them to collapse. Pop Step shouted. What the hell kind of quirk is that? Mirio shouted. He stole quirks from some of the inmates here. Katsuki shouted. How many inmates are in Arkham? Crawler shouted back. More than 10,000 from what I heard. Izuku laughed. You are actually wrong. The number is higher and I am going to release them all. Imagine 20,000 madmen and women joining me on the quest of destroying society. Mirio ran up to punch Izuku, but every punch was reflected back at him. Then a huge wave of energy hit Izuku, stopping Izuku from killing Mirio. The four turned to see Asunieator and Najire-chan, Mirio smiling, "Guys." Tamaki in seriousness, "We knew you were in trouble." Najire looked at Izuku, "I thought Deku could only resurrect from the dead will perfect health and that's it." Katsuki grunting, "Deku can actually take quirks and use them as his own, right now he has a lot of quirks." Izuku smiling, "The more, the merrier." The three best students of UA, my childhood bully, the crawler, and pop star Step. I love this matchup already, too bad this will end quickly. Mirio smirking, "Oh it will." Then gas surrounded the six, which Scarecrow laughing, the six were trying their best not to breathe in the gas. Izuku went back to normal to look at the six. Scarecrow stood new to him, "Who should we take?" Izuku looked at them. "Let's take the blue hair girl, we take her, and if Catwoman and Poison Ivy did their job then Sir Night-Eye should also be captured, we will finally see who he is going to save. The girl or his mentor." Sato appeared with the rest, which Scarecrow grabbed Najire, then Izuku warped them all back to his base. Scarecrow put Najire in a cage, then Abara and Momo came in with an unconscious Sir Night-Eye being carried by a monster made of plants. Izuku smiling, "I see that you two did the job." Abara giggled a bit, "My plants got him alone and no one to protect him while Cat did the work." Nito came in after from looking at Doomsday. "The beast is still regenerating, but it will take about a few weeks for it to return to full health." Izuku shrugged, "We can still do a lot of damage without Doomsday." Then Tamura came in through Kurogiri's portal, "Deku." Izuku turned to Tamura, "Tamura, my friend, what brings you here?" Tamura said, "I need your help with something." Izuku then grabbed Tomura's shoulder, "Sure, let's go to my office." The two headed into a room with a desk, 2 chairs, and boxes of papers. Izuku asked, "What do you need?" Tamura said, "Jiren got kidnapped by a group of people calling themselves the Meta Liberation Army." Izuku raised an eyebrow, "What is the problem?" Tamura frowned, "They have over 100,000 men. Gigantomachia hasn't been easy to convince to join me and the doctor as well. I would like to attack them with a sizable and strong group of people." Izuku smiling, "We will join you. Doomsday is out of the game for a few weeks, but everyone else is ready." Tamura smiling back, "Thank you." Izuku asked him, "With All Might out of the picture, what is your purpose as a villain?" Tamura thought for a moment, to destroy everything of this society and everything I hate." Izuku giggled, "Now we are talking." The demon's castle. Najire woke open to find herself in a cage. She felt something on her wrists, which she looked down to see each wrist had a bracelet on them. Izuku giggling, "Wakey wakey, Najire-chan." Najire put her arms up to blast Izuku away, but nothing happened. Izuku smiling, "I see you are now introduced to the quirk erasing cuffs. They are nearly unbreakable, and as long as they are on, you are quirkless." Najire was in shock, "What?" Izuku laughed a little bit, then kicked the cage next to Nejire's cage. "Wake up, gentleman Black Eye." Sir woke up then in fear, "Deku." Izuku smiling at the two, "I see you two are now awake, so the show will begin." Najire asked, "What show?" Izuku chuckled, "I'm going to make Mirio choose on who should he save between the two of you." Sir smirks, "I hope he save her." Najire looked to Sir, "No, he needs you to help him." Izuku clapped his hands. A group of men took Sir's cage out of the room. Izuku grabbed a glass of vodka. "You see Najire, I know Mirio would choose you over Night-Eye because he loves you. He was going to plan to confess his feeling to you after he puts me away in Arkham." Najire looked at him, "What are you talking about?" Izuku giggling, "You see, some of the many quirks I have is telepathy and future sight. I read his mind and future like a book. That was his plan. he can't be broken like All Might. So, I'm going to take away his love then everything else after that until I find something that breaks. Izuku started laughing while Najire was in horror by the demon in front of her. Izuku ran to her cage. I'm going to rig the decision to where he will save his mentor and kill you. Najire stuttered, kill. Izuku looking shocked, kill. No, I'm not killing you, but I got video editors to make it look real. You will be one of my slaves for the rest of your days. Izuku started laughing like a madman with Najire in horror by Izuku's plan to break her friend Mirio. Elsewhere in the base, Yukio and Mirko have been trying to find a way out of this new base, but they couldn't figure it out. Mirko's quirk, Rabbit, gives her all the traits of a rabbit and she is super strong, but the quirk erasing cuffs cancelled out everything of her quirk except one thing. Rabbits are known to be quick breeders and usually give birth about 31 days after they were bred. That was the part of the quirk that wasn't cancelled out. She has already given birth to Izuku's children. Yes, she carried triplets that were Izuku's children. When she gave birth to them, Izuku and Toga took them from her, which Izuku tested to see what quirks they had. Toga didn't care about who the mother of the children was. They were Izuku's children and she was his wife and wants to be the mother of Izuku's children. Toga is pregnant with Izuku's child and she is also caring for the children of Izuku and Mirko. Scarecrow did the tests that All for One used to determine the quirks of the children before the age of 4. The first one Izuku named Izu, a green-hair boy with red eyes and pale white skin, has the quirk All for One. The second one is named Emily, a girl with white hair and green eyes with early signs of rabbit-like ears. The tests and appearance showed that she had the quirk Rabbit like her mother. The third one was unusual. He is named Gabriel. This child from the test had a quirk that was different from Rabbit. It gives the user telekinesis as well. Scarecrow concluded that Gabriel's quirk is Rabbitkinesis, which Izuku found the quirk interesting, but he wasn't going to take it. Yukio looked at Mirko. Mirko, how are you doing? Mirko looking at the wall. I always wanted to one day get married with someone, then have kids. This is not how I thought my life was going to go. I didn't expect to give birth to the children to that monster. Then a person walked by, which Yukio said, "Hey you." The person was Shoto, which Yukio looked at him in anger because Shoto raped her. Can you get us a drink of water? Shoto flipped his coin then left to bring some water. Shoto turned to leave but Yukio asked, why? Shoto raised an eyebrow. Why what? Mirko looked at him as well. Why are you working for that monster? Why did you kill your father? What did he do that made you want to brutally kill him in such a way? Shoto looked at the coin then flipped it. Fate is on your side today. I will tell you two who the great Endeavor really was. Shoto then told them his life story of how his dad raised him, how he treated everyone from him, his mom, and Tuya. Mirko and Yukio were in shock. Then Shoto smiled. When I heard he got shot by Deku and was in the hospital, I felt like fate was finally going to get him for all of his crimes. Then when Deku gave me the chance to get revenge on him. Shoto chuckled. I wanted it. I wanted to give that bastard what he deserved. I could feel fate telling me that this was my chance. Shoto laughing. I took it and avenged myself, mother, and Tuya. It felt good. Yukio looked at his coin. What does the coin represent? Shoto flipping the coin around, showing one side was a face without scratches and the other had a face with scratches. When I see this coin, it reminds me of fate, and me. Shoto got up to leave. I will check on you two again in a few hours. Mirko asked, why do you care for us? Shoto monotone. One of you is carrying my kid, or kids. In the end I want to give them a better life than what I had. Shoto then left the two to head to his mother. Meanwhile, in another part of the base, Ms. Joke was watching as Cow Lady was being raped by Sato and Uwabami was being raped by Scarecrow. She was in horror by this, which then a voice from behind her, enjoying the sight in front of you. She turned to see Nito behind her. stroking her hair. I'm not going to do anything to you, I'm not like those brutes over there. Ms. Joke asked, what are doing? Nito laughed a little bit, just here for some conversion. Nito then guided her to a room with Shinso, who was reading a book while drinking some tea. Please sit, my dear lady. Ms. Joke took a chair. Shinso grabbed a teacup to pour some tea for her. Ms. Joke looked at the tea, which Shinso giggled. It's not poison, if that is what you are thinking. We can't kill our guests in this household. Ms. Joke looked at him. I don't be. Ms. Joke then couldn't speak or move. Shinso smirked. Drink the tea. Ms. Joke followed his command. After she drank the tea, she had complete control of her body and she wasn't feeling anything. She looked at Shinso. What did you do? Nito chuckled as he moved a chest piece on the chessboard between him and Shinso. He used his quirk on you. Shinso moving another piece. Brainwashing. It works only if someone responds to me. The quirk made people think I as a destined villain my entire life. I wanted to be a hero just like everyone here. Ms. Joke asked, what happened? Nieto moving his queen. Deku showed us what society really is, overfill with hero wannabes and villain wannabes. A society that discriminates mutate quirks, villain quirks, quirkless people, and weak quirks. The wannabes just made it worse. This society needs a new class of villains to bring out the real heroes and burn this society to the ground. Ms. Joke in shock by this whole idea of them being the biggest monsters they can be to one day bring out new heroes and a new society. She knows what it's like to be discriminated. Her quirk makes people around her laugh uncontrollable, which people thought that it was a weak quirk. Then she made it a strong quirk to help her defeat many villains, but right now the quirk erasing cuffs were canceling out the quirk. Shinso grabbed another cup of tea. Riddler, what do you think about this Meta Liberation Army? We will fight so with the League of Villains. Ms. Joke in shock, what did you say? Nito chuckled. 110,000-man army, that is going to be one fun day. I hope they are strong and ready for the combined force of the Injustice League and the League of Villains. Ms. Joke was in shock by what she was hearing, but the Meta Liberation Army was supposed to be disbanded a long time ago. That a new voice came in, it was, until Destro's son, Destro, brought it back. Ms. Joke turned to see Jiro. Jiro went to the table to grab a quick drink. Good tea as always, Mad Hatter. Shinso laughed a little bit, then Nito said, check. Shinso looked at the board, then Nito smirked, mate. Shinso nodded. Good game, let's head on over to check on Eri. I bet Cat is getting tired. Ms. Joke watched them leave, which she decided to look around for an exit, but she just couldn't find one. She heard noises from behind one of the doors, which she opened it just a little bit to see what was inside. She saw Kota and Abara in a room filled with plants and animals of all kinds, and they were talking. Kota petting a grizzly cub. If I had a huge piece of land to myself, I will fill it endangered animals to keep them safe. Abara giggled a bit. I see you are a man of nature. Ms. Joke quickly closed the door to continue her way to find the exit. She was not finding any luck so far. She then opened another door just a little bit to find Toga with 3 babies. Toga smiling at them. You 3 are super cute. Mommy loves each and every one of you, and soon you will have another sibling with you. Toga had her hand on her belly, which Ms. Joke understood that Toga was pregnant, which is valuable information for the future. She closed the door to continue find the exit, which the enter place felt like a maze that you just can't leave. She is getting paranoid from everything around her. She wanted to stop Deku, free the other heroines, and return to Shota. Then she realized that the place is designed as similar to Arkham's design. Arkham is designed for people living there to find food, living quarters and whatnot. It was designed for insane people. She wasn't insane, meaning that to her it's a maze, but to everyone living here it was place they knew like the back of their hand. Ms. Joke shook her head. No, that's crazy. There is no way this place is designed for insane people only. Then she heard some moaning noises, which she turned to a door that reads, Evil works here. She opened the door to see something she thought she would see in her life. Najire was stripped naked, chained up to where she couldn't move and gagged up. Then Izuku whipped out his dick. You know the average depth of a woman's vagina is 8 inches deep, making my 9 inches is more than enough, but I'm going to go, plus ultra. Izuku's dick then grew 2 times its size, which Najire looked at it in terror while Ms. Joke at the door was in shock of this. Izuku got behind her. I'm going to remind myself that multiplier works on make body parts bigger. Don't worry, I'm going for your ass first. Izuku then shoved his entire dick in her asshole, then a person grabbed Ms. Joke's shoulder. She turned to see Scarecrow. Scarecrow chuckled, time to go back to your cell. Ms. Joke smelled some gas then passed out, which Scarecrow picked her up to return her to her cell while Izuku continues to rape Najire.